On the 13th of September 1991, I was sent by my employers, the Surrey TVEE Unit, to a multimedia conference at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh. By dowsing, I found 3 Leys passing through the Leonard Horner Hall where I was staying. One went slightly obliquely through the end of the building, another, almost at right angles to it, skirted the edge of a small lake rather flamboyantly called Riccarton Loch. The third goes through a large stone, which I came to call the Hume Stone. There are many stones placed ornamentally round the campus, but this one attracted me particularly because of it being in a small clump of silver birch and also being particularly large. A plaque on it announces that it was excavated from the playing field site in 1969 and later that year unveiled by no less a person than Sir Alec Douglas Hume, Chancellor of the University, to commemorate the gift of the Riccarton site to the University by the Midlothian Council. Yet despite its recent erection, a ley seems to pass through it to 3 smaller stones strategically placed at the corner of the road near the playing fields, which were obviously excavated from the hillside. They now form 2 terraces. Dare I hope it also passes through the spot where the large stone was found? At the time, I was studying the phenomenon of the solar transition effect, in which leys seem to double in width for a short period around sunrise and sunset. All 3 of these leys were tested at sunrise, and all 3 increased in size from 6 to 12 paces. The sunrise window was slightly longer, however, by about 10 minutes. This is not unexpected, as the angle of sunrise would be more oblique as the location was further north, as opposed to the places where I tested the phenomenon in Surrey. On this occasion, I tested the effect by standing just outside the narrow width of the ley. It was quite an experience when suddenly the rods crossed without me moving. The opposite happened at the end of the window. The rods suddenly uncrossed. The other leys grew and shrank at the same time, as far as I could judge, as obviously it took a few minutes to walk between them. The dawn chorus of the birds happened at the beginning of the window, but only seemed to continue until just before sunrise, except for the odd twitter now and again. The sunrise-sunset effect would seem to be one of great importance. It must be like a great standing pulse following the terminator as it rushes round the earth. There can never be a time when this ever-moving great circle is not stimulating leys to activity somewhere on the planet. The Hume Stone ley was detected by dowsing, but strangely there seems to be only one acceptable point visible on the map. This is an ancient standing stone in a hedgerow near a crossroads at Wright Houses, Gorebridge, featured in A Guide to Standing Stones and Stone Circles in the south of Scotland. It's a medium-sized stone of pink sandstone with some interesting lichen growth set in a hawthorn hedge along a minor road to the east of Gorebridge. Local news and gossip has included a startling number of strange events and sightings in the surrounding area, and it seems to be regarded as a UFO hotspot. However, there is another ley through the Heriot-Watt campus, not one I tested in 1991, which also goes through the Gorebridge Stone, but which is much better on the map. It begins at the crossroads on Boundary Road at the University. Then goes through a cairn on Carketton Hill. From here it passes through the Gorebridge Stone, then on to Addinston Hill Fort, and finally to the Borrowston Rig Stone Circle. Another ley which I did test at the University comes from the unmarked centre near Boundary Road to the summit of Harbour Hill, a foothill of the Pentland Hills. It then runs along a long stretch of coincident road in Penicuik to the ruins of St Mary's Chapel, Mount Lothian. The Chapel of St Mary was named for Mary Magdalene and was built on the knoll of a rounded hill that's known as Mount Lothian. There were 13 sycamore trees in a grove on this hill, and it should be noted that Mount Lothian is named after King Lot, who is said to have made his home here. This legendary ruler of the Lothians is said to be the father of Gawain and his brothers. He was also said to be the husband of King Arthur's sister, Anna. This chapel is on another very interesting lay, running due north to Arthur's seat, the hill fort in the middle of Edinburgh. This then runs to Roslin Castle. There's been a castle on the site since the early 14th century, when the Sinclair family fortified the site. Then it goes to Roslin Chapel, founded in 1446 by Sir William St Clair. The beauty of its setting in rural Midlothian and the mysterious symbolism of its ornate stonework have inspired, attracted and intrigued writers and artists and visitors ever since. It continues to the spectacular hill fort of Arthur's Seat, often mentioned as one of the possible locations for Camelot. And according to tradition, Scotland's 12th century King David I encountered a stag while out hunting. Having fallen from his horse and about to be gored, he had a vision of a cross appearing between the animal's antlers, before it inexplicably turned away, leaving him unharmed. David, believing his life had been spared through divine intervention, founded Holyrood Abbey on the spot. Finally, the line reaches the ruins of St Anthony's Chapel, Holyrood Park. Surprisingly little is known about the origin of the chapel.